As soon as Jotham and Xena set out for Betts Bridge, Ethan departs to deliver the lumber load to Andrew Hale. During his journey, he is consumed by thoughts of his return to Maddie, imagining their first night alone together. After recounting these thoughts, the narrator gets smoothly into a description of the circumstances that surrounded Ethan's courtship of Xena and their subsequent marriage. When Xena came to help Ethan nurse his mother, her arrival made him feel less lonely. Fearing the return of his loneliness when his mother died, Ethan asked Xena to marry him. He had originally planned to sell the farm and move to a larger town, but Xena's illness soon rendered his dream impossible. Since he mentioned to Xena that he would be receiving cash for the lumber load, Ethan decides to go ahead and ask Andrew Hale for a small direct payment. After unloading the lumber, Hale invites Ethan into his office, and Ethan requests an advance of $50. Hale politely refuses, citing his own financial constraints, and after a further exchange of civilities, Ethan leaves Hale to conduct some other business in the village. With the afternoon drawing to a close, the street stands relatively empty. After an interval of solitude, a swiftly moving horse-drawn sleigh carrying Dennis Eady passes Ethan and heads in the direction of the Frome farm. Ethan feels a fleeting pang of jealousy, which he quickly suppresses as unworthy of his affections for Maddie. Under the cover of the Varnum spruces, Ethan happens upon Ned Hale and Ruth Varnum, locked together in a clandestine embrace. Realizing that they are being watched, the kissing couple quickly separates and departs. Ethan is left to reminisce about the scene, which, he notes, has taken place in the very spot where he and Maddie stood hesitating the previous night. Ethan makes the long climb back to the farm. When he arrives, he looks up to see a light issuing from Maddie's bedroom. He imagines her preparing herself for supper, and he thinks back to the evening of her arrival, when she had taken such care with her appearance. On his way to the house, Ethan passes a gravestone that he has often considered a curiosity. It marks the resting place of one of his ancestors, also named Ethan Frome, as well as that of the ancestor's wife, who was named Endurance. They dwelt together in peace for 50 years, the stone announces. Ethan wonders if the same words will be written about him and Xena. Arriving home, Ethan finds the door locked. Maddie opens it, in her usual dress but with a streak of crimson ribbon in her hair. She has carefully set the supper table for Ethan with festive treats and colorful serving dishes. After Ethan removes his outerwear, he returns to the kitchen, where Maddie has put the tea kettle on the table. She playfully admits to entertaining Jotham Powell over a cup of coffee, which makes Ethan prickle slightly with jealousy. At supper, the cat jumps up onto the table, upsetting and breaking a pickle dish. The accident drives Maddie to tears, because Xena had forbidden her ever to use the dish, a favorite wedding present of Xena's that came all the way from Philadelphia. Ethan confidently consoles her, balancing the fragments into a convincing hole high atop the closet, where it would be unlikely that Xena could detect the breakage. Having averted the disaster, Ethan and Maddie settle back down at the table to finish their supper. Ethan's silent fascination with the gravestone outside his house displays the extent to which his life is permeated by the severe, Puritan notion that all human action is predetermined. As he stares at the gravestone, which memorializes the lives and 50-year marriage of Ethan Frome and Endurance his wife, Ethan believes his own fate is spelled out before him. The former Frome's wife's name seems to embody Ethan's own situation. He no longer lives life but merely endures. Although Ethan fully recognizes the obstacle that Xena poses to his happiness, he refuses to act to rectify the situation.